Another thing that we run into here is, and my mother-in-law used to say, it's not cookbooky. I don't know if that's a word, but basically what you have is, I may have two patients come in for the same item, but if they've got two different insurances, they could be on vastly different paths. We could require that they have, let me say that again. Insurance could require that they have prior auth. And then this patient over here, no prior auth necessary. We don't even need the dealer or the supplier to have chart notes. They're out the door that day. This person over here, prior auth required. Okay, so now we need to have those chart notes. We need to fax the appropriate form to the appropriate fax number to the appropriate office, and then wait for that to come back. And so it's just a very different experience, and the cost can be very different. I'm sure this is, you know, everyone understands that, but we see it every day. And I've even had a case where I've got two patients in the store at the same time for the same item, having to experience the difference between those two things. And it just comes from having the complication of different insurances and having different rules. You've got even some Medicare Advantage plans that make us go through the prior auth process for something that with Medicare, if we have all of the documentation, if we've vetted it and determined that this patient has that need, they meet the criteria, we're out the door delivering it. It's done. But then you've got this Medicare Advantage plan that requires us to go through an auth process. And maybe they only authorize for 3 months at a time. And then you've got to do it again. So same item, different patients, different insurance, totally different timelines. So you can't, it's not a cookbook thing. You can't write a circle around something and say, this takes this long. And it all comes down really to our cooperation and communication as well. And we get very busy, and we're all human. But we are all in this together, and we all want the same thing, I think, and that is the patient has the need. Let's fill the need of the patient and do so in such a way that we can all stay afloat and live to fight another day, with just a minimum of consternation and a minimum of patient cost. And yeah, I mean, so far, I think we do a pretty good job, but I love to hear from you if your experience is other than that, because we're always looking for ways to improve. We've got systems in place that are always being tweaked, and the process of getting equipment out to patients is always being tweaked. So we're open to that feedback as well, and welcome your questions on any of this. And hopefully we can talk at some point and have a really good, successful experience.